Hello and welcome to Google Sites Training. My name is Carl Manganero and I'm going to be showing you how to use Google Sites in your classroom and also for students who are at home. Google Sites can be used as a teacher website. It can be used as a student website. You can use it for clubs and teams and anything else you really want. But one of the nice things about Google Sites, besides the information you can put on there to give to your students and to their parents, are some of the projects you can do Google Sites with. I'll be showing you some examples of that in a minute as I'm talking about what Google Sites can do. Some teachers use Google Sites for portfolios. Some teachers will use Google Sites for kids to blog. I used to use Google Sites as a way for kids to do projects. Say if I'm covering World War II and I want to assign each kid a certain name or place or battle from World War II, I'll assign that and they'll have to build a website on, say, the Battle of Stalingrad with pictures and videos and maps so other kids can go to it and learn from that. It was very successful, and plus the kids are learning skills as well. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the basics of Google Sites, how to get into the site, how to name it, how to set up your banner, then how to add text, images, to embed stuff, to set it up to your Google Drive. There are more advanced features like the layouts you put in and how you organize them. You can even embed YouTube videos, buttons to go to other pages. You can embed lots of your Google apps like Google Docs and Google Sheets. So there's a lot of different things you can do with Google Sites. It can look like a professional website, but it's very user-friendly. You can also have multiple pages, and you can have sub-pages as well to those pages. So as a teacher, it's a great thing to use if you're doing your unit and then you want to go in and put week 1 as a subpage and week 2 to keep all your work organized. Finally, there's themes. Create a theme you want, the color, the style of font, just the overall theme to make your site look good as well as be informative. So what are we waiting for? Let's get in and see how Google Sites works. Hello and welcome to this training in Google Sites. The way to get to Google Sites is you first go in and hit sites.google.com. And depending on how it's set up, you may go to the classic sites. If you go to this and say, hey, this looks different than what I saw earlier, okay, all you have to do is click on New Google Sites and it will bring you right to this one. A lot of you will log in and this will be the first thing you see anyways, but some might still go back to the classic site. So if you have some on here already, you'll see some of the thumbnails of the Google Sites that maybe you've created or somebody has shared with you. And these are a list of those. But what we want to do today is we're going to go in and we're going to create a new Google site. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you just give it a name. So for this purpose in training, we'll call it More Train. And the site will come here. You can add a logo to it. That's something if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that. The first thing we have is this called the banner. Now for the banner, you can have pretty much whatever you want on there. You can upload your own picture, or you can select an image that they already have for you. When you upload, you have to make sure it's the right size. You can't put a full picture in there because it will crop it off. It'll mostly focus on the middle of the picture. So if you have information you want to put on there, you want to make sure you put it right here in the middle section of your photo and it will show up. Or you can just go in and put the ones that they select for you. So if you want keyboard, you put it in and then it will adjust the color for readability, either lighten it or darken it or change your color of your page title. Now your page title you can put right in here. It could be the exact same thing as the name of your site. Or if you don't want it, you can just trash it and just have an image there with no text. There are a few different header types. You have title only, the banner, which is what we use here, a larger banner, and then you have what's called the cover page, okay, which is a huge banner. Most people, most of the time, what I would go with is just the banner or even the title. That's strictly up to you. So once you have this all set, now you're ready to get into your sites. And just to go over a couple of buttons for you, on the top, right here, you have undo and redo. So if you do make a mistake, you just click on this and it will change the last thing correction that you made. As you notice, we went back to the cover page. If I click on this again, it brings me back just the redo. This here is the preview. So anytime you want to look at your site to see the progress and how people will see it online, you click in here and it will show you how it looks on here. It'll even show you if you want to see the phone view or a tablet. Click the X, and now you're back to editing again. Right now, with the link part, don't have to worry about it because we haven't published it yet. We'll get into that more later. If you want to work on this with somebody else, very simple. Just click on here, and you can add any person you want by the email. We'll get into the other stuff as far as publishing this later as well. But if you do have a couple people you want to work on this site with, that's the button that you would hit. This here gives you some settings as far as where you want your navigation. We'll get into that in a minute. Whether you want the top to be transparent, white, or it could even be black. Depends on what you want. That is strictly a choice of yours, or you just leave it transparent. You can put your logo in here, and you can have what's called a favicon, which if you notice right up here, Twitter has their little one here. YouTube has their one. You can also put that in as well. This can show you some information as far as viewers and if they click what they click on and everything else, so you can use that. And this is analytics, which that gets in a little deep. You might not want to go that far anyways. Here you can look if you made a couple changes and you didn't like it, but you already published it. You can then go to the version history, and in there go to the last versions that were made, click on it, and it will go back to the way it was maybe when you did like it and you didn't like the changes you made. Then finally publish. We'll get into this later. All right, so now you're on your page. And there's a lot of things you can do to start out with. The first thing you can do is this setup with the text box. And in the text box, you can pretty much type anything you wanted to type in there. What I like about it is you can change the size of it. You can put it in the middle. You can link it. You can do a lot of different things with text. And the nice thing is the text is adjustable. So if you didn't want the text to be in a big box like this, you can just change it up. Okay, put it in like that and then move it over to the middle. That way, if you did want to add some more text in here, you can do that. So that's one of the reasons for that. Also, you have images. Anytime you want to put an image in, you can go right in to select through a Google image search. So if I put in fish, the picture comes in. And again, you can adjust the picture size. You can move the picture anywhere you want. You can even attach the picture right to that text and change this to be fish. Move that over. Now they are connected as one. Once you connect it to something, they group automatically on their own. A little more technical is you got what's called embed. With embed, you can put a URL in, and most of the time it will put it in. So if I want to put in the Mork website and embed it on here, I just put the URL in, and I can say, do I want the whole page? Preview, I go for the whole page, click it in, and there's the website. And what I can do with this is I can make it smaller, And it will, when I make it smaller, it kind of responds. It makes it look more like what the phone would look like on this. And again, can always move it over and put it where I want. The last one is Drive, where I can pretty much take anything from Drive and embed it onto my site. So if I went into Drive and I wanted to put something in there that I had saved on here from before, I can go in and say I want to put in something like family resources. I click on it and it will embed it right into it. I can adjust the size the same way and move it wherever I want, or even attach it. If I want to attach it to this website, I just attach it to the website. Now that's a group. So a lot of different things you can do with those four buttons. Another nice feature, they have a shortcut feature where if I'm in here and I double click, I have those same four features right here. They do give me an extra one, which is called the upload. So if I want to put a picture from my computer on there, just click on here and it will open up my computer and I can add whatever I want. So that's the first step on just creating a website and how you want to do it. Okay, so after those features, now we'll get into something a little different. Let's clean up here a little bit. All right, so you still have your main page. You haven't done anything with it yet. You want some kind of a layout, and they do have some nice built-in layouts. So if you were to click on just a single one, it would allow you to put in a picture that you can get anywhere, even a calendar, a map, or a YouTube video. If you have the link to the YouTube video, it's simple. You click on it, put in the link, and the video will pop up right in here. Then you can add text to it and to be the title, and then some normal text for a description of what that is. There's other ones you can put in rows of 3. That becomes a nice feature. And the reason it's a nice feature is because now everything is the same size. Nothing's going to be too big. Where if you went in by yourself and you did it and you made one box and you made another box, you'd have to line them up. And it takes a little bit more work. It's not that hard, but it does take a little bit more work. So this is some of the features you can use as well. Okay, if you want even little ones, you can put those in there like that. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this. That just makes the site look good. So the next thing we're going to talk about after the layouts, and just let me give you an example actually of a layout before we get into one. I'll just go in here and select any image that they have. You can go in and search, and since I'm on the theme, I might as well stick with the fish. And if I want to put one of the fish in there, they come in here and I can put in fish and then an explanation of this is a fish. All right, so it does look nice. And say all of a sudden you're looking at this and you want to change it. You want the fish on the other side. Simple. Drag the fish, attach it right to here, and now you have it on that side. So a lot of different things you can do with that as well. The next thing is collapsible text. So if I put in here a list of the trainings we're doing, down below I can put in the list of the trainings. So I can put Google Meet as one. So if they click on it, they'll have that. So that's just something you can use if you're having a website that maybe you have a long list of things and you just don't want to use all that. And if you want, you can even not make it collapsible, or you can. The choice is up to you. The image carousel is a new feature that they just came in with. So again, nice to put in some things here. Stick with the animal theme. I want this one to go in. I want this one to go in, and this one. And now what it'll do for me is it'll create like a banner or a slider, or as they call it, a carousel, in which these videos will play. as you want them to, and you can adjust the size any way you want. And each one will go through the cycle. So if I went to preview it, you can do it by clicking the arrows, or it can do it by itself. So you have a lot of different features here that you can use for this as well. Next, we have the button. I do like this one. Instead of having big images, you can just put a button down. It's a little bit cleaner, a little smaller. So if I wanted us to go to the website, I would type in website, put any website you want. I'll put in the Mork website, and then I can insert it. And I can put that in any other kind of picture. So if I wanted to take this and put it in with the fish, now it's grouped. So if I was to click on this, it would bring me to a website. So let me go to preview. And I click on it, and it will open up the web page there. So that's another nice feature they have, being the button. Divider is pretty much what it is. It's a divider. It will divide it, give you that little bit of divider that you can have on your page when you're trying to block things out. Now, before we get into some of the Google apps that work with this page, another thing you can do is you have this little art paint canvas, and you can go in and you can do regular, which is what you'll see here is a white screen. The first emphasis they have is gray. The final one is the color that your theme is. We'll get into themes in a little bit. So if you want to separate these, so if you want this one to be white, but you want the list of trainings to be blue, it kind of gives you another nice divider anyways. And this one, you can go make it a little grayer. You can change the colors with the theme. So that's something else that we can look into once we get into the themes here. That's something that you really don't have to have. It just cleans up the site more, makes the site look a little bit better. And again, I'll show you some examples of some sites in a little bit that you can create through Google Sites. Now the YouTube link, let me get rid of some stuff here so we have a little bit more room. If I want a YouTube to go in, again, just like I did before, I had to just put in what the YouTube link is. Okay, so, or a search actually, not even the link. So if I want to go in and I put in cats, and I'm not even an animal guy, but I'm using a lot of animals today. I put it in. Let's try that again. Okay, so I put in cats. Now I have them in here. I can make it bigger. I can move it to the middle. It's that simple to put in a YouTube video. Now, if I also want to put a calendar in for my class, which is one of the examples we gave, I can go in and take any of these calendars that I have and put them in. So if I wanted this calendar to go in, I just insert it and the calendar is in there. Again, you can make it bigger, you can make it a little bit smaller, whatever you want to do and whatever fits your needs. Very simply a map. If I want a location and I want to say, okay, I'm going to go to Rome, New York, and I want to select that map, it will put it on there. And there's the map of New York. Very nice for history websites. If you're doing something covering the Battle of World War II and you want to find the location of a specific battle, you put in the town where the battle took place. It takes you right to it through Google Maps. Then if you want to just embed a Google slide, very simple. So you want to make this a page if you're a teacher, and you want to make this a page that puts in, for example, you want to put in your notes for the day. If you use Google Slides, you just throw them in here. And the Google Slides now are embedded on your websites. Kids can go through and look at this at any time they want. Same thing could be said for sheets and forms and even charts. So if you have a Google form and you want to give a quiz or something like that, and you want them to do it right on your site, there you go. You just put it in. It has all the questions. It fits right to the page, and they can actually take it right on this page. If they want to take it on another tab, all they would have to do is click on this right here, and it will open it up in a new tab, and they're all set. So there's so much things you could do creating the site with Google Sites. Now, that's all the buttons and the features that you can use to set up a Google site. There's a lot more, and you'll learn as you play with it. You're going to find better ways in which to make your site. But say you have so much content and your main page is just, as mine is now, goes from here all the way down. So to avoid people from having to do all this, what you can do is you can make pages. To make a page is as easy as to go new page, and we can call it other trainings, and your new page is made. It even puts the title of the page in there, and now you have a whole nother page which you can do stuff. It even puts it up here, so you have it. Now, if you're going to make a lot of pages, and all of a sudden you have your tab is all the way from here all the way across, a good trick to do is to always hide them. Maybe on the front page, put buttons that you can have, and I'll show you that right now. If I wanted, for example, to put other trainings on here, link it to that page, insert it, and now just bring it all the way up to the top. Oop, I think I put in the collapsible text, so let me try that again. So I bring it all the way up to the top, or close. And there's my button. So if I go to this button now, it's going to bring me to other trainings. And then they can see it. That way I don't have too much on here. But as a teacher and you're doing lesson plans, or you're doing what you want the kids to see what you're doing during the course of one of your units, you could make this unit 1. And then, okay, well, I want to put week 1, week 2, week 3 in. So you just make a subpage. You put week 1 in. It's there. Want to add another subpage? You put in week 2. Now you have your units, and then all of a sudden you want a new page because you only spent 2 weeks on that unit. Unit 2, now you have that. So it came in as a subpage, so all you do if that happens, you just bring it over. So you see that little line, and now it's its own separate page. And you notice Unit 1 now has these. So again, you can have a drop-down box, or you can put buttons in on Unit 1 right here. It could say week 1, week 2. Totally your choice and what you prefer. Some people like to drop down. Some people like to have buttons. The choice is always yours. Now, the nice thing is, as far as pages, as much as you want. I haven't seen a limit yet where it stopped me and saying you can't have any more pages. So I don't think anybody will ever go, if there is a limit, I don't think anybody will ever get to that unit, to that limit. So I think you'll be fine with that. The last thing we're going to talk about is themes. There aren't a lot. There's 6 choices. You have simple, you have what's called Aristotle, diplomat, vision, level, and impression. They all come with the default color, so you can change the color anytime you want. So if you want to go in and change the color, say your school color is yellow, you can change that to yellow. Okay, now everything you put in here is going to have a yellow theme to it. So I put in a text box, and remember before we talked about the background, that will now be yellow. So now on every one, the theme is yellow. You can always go in and change it. And the font style, you got light. So we can take a look at this font here. Classic. And if you want heavy, it puts it more in a bold. So the themes you can play around with to see what you like best. Again, that's a personal choice. Whatever you want to do with it, that's something you can do. Once this is all complete and you now have your site ready to publish, you hit this button up here that is set called published, and it will give you the address. Now the address is going to be sites.google.com/ your school's domain, then the title. And right now, if I publish this site, anyone at the RIC could look at it and view it. I can change that. Right in here, I can change it to anyone can view and sign. So I can make this site public. If you don't want it to be public and you just want your students to be able to see it, that's fine, because they have your domain, they have their email, they can go to it. As long as they're logged into their account, they can view the website, and nobody else outside of the school's domain can view it. Or if you just want certain people, you pick this one, and then you can send an email out to invite your students to that. If you have a lot of students, you're probably better off using the second one, as far as anyone at your school can find and view the published version. Once you're ready to do that, all you would do is click publish, and now your site is published. So if I went to view this site, it would come in and show me the site. Okay, so that is Google Sites. This is something that could be used for many different projects, as I explained earlier. A great little site for you to communicate with your students, with your students' parents. Great for projects, as mentioned, portfolios, blogs. If you're doing any kind of project on a time period or a certain person, building a website is a great way for that student to learn more about that person and for others to look on it as well, especially with the amount of videos you can put on there and different documents and maps and everything else. It's a great teaching tool. It's great for project-based learning, and it's a very easy app to use. Once you're on it for probably about 10 or 15 minutes, you'll start picking it up. It's that simple and that user-friendly that you will pick it up very shortly. So if you have any more questions on this, you can please contact me at carlmanganero@moric.org. So this has been a training on Google Sites, and thank you very much for listening and watching.